right now plant-based is really hot. We've got the Impossible Burger and the Beyond Meat and the Beyond Chicken, and the fast food restaurants are picking up on it. And as somebody who follows the research and has sort of been at the festivals and has been a speaker and been a participant as well and just a viewer, I think all that's great. I remember when I was late high school, early college, when low carb exploded. And back then I didn't know anything, and I followed it for a long time, and my dad, who was a diabetic, was told to do that, and that was a horrible series of advice. But all these products flooded the market. It was low carb everything because
South Beach diet.
Right, because the manufacturers of fill in the blank, they don't care, they want to sell you a product. So if what will sell is a vegan cheeseburger, they're going to do that. If what's going to sell are low carb potato chips, that's what's going to be out there. And then that flared up for 2 or 3 years, maybe 5. There's still some stuff out there. But I remember my father saying, I'm so lucky to be living during this time, so there was all this low carb crap that I wouldn't have had 20 years ago if I'd have been diabetic back then. And so then, let's say it went from, I'm going to make up numbers again, but it was five low carb products on every shelf. There were 500, and then it kind of filtered back down, and now maybe there's 120. So my fear is that right now it's really trendy with all the plant-based stuff, and right now people in the plant-based community are saying, this is amazing, this is incredible. At the Hy-Vee right by my house, I saw they had on an end cap, so in a featured end cap, they had Gardein Thanksgiving roasts, vegan Thanksgiving roasts, and they were on sale, and they were, so look how much protein's in this and all this stuff. And I wonder if there's going to be that sort of
pendulum swinging backwards. Yeah, I actually think about that a lot, and there's 2 reasons I think it won't be, and one brings me to Impossible Foods and the guy, I believe his name is Mark Post, who started Impossible Foods. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I hope I'm not. But I was listening to an interview on Rich Roll, and he was saying that his goal as a company is to, I think it's by 2035, replace all animal products with something that is better, which I thought was really interesting. Pat Brown. Okay.
Pat Brown, yeah.
So backing that up, it was Pat Brown of Impossible Foods. Mark Post, I think, did some of the, he's the one that did the lab-grown meat. Okay. Mixed it up. But the whole point here is that his goal is to make things better, because here's the thing. Animal products as they are, if they aren't going to get any better, it's still going to be the same animals. Might be able to breed some here or there to change something up. But with these plant-based alternatives going at it from a biochemical angle, you can make it better and better and better. So the Impossible Burger is just going to get better and better. And then I believe there's a point where people are going to actually think it tastes better. And there was a situation, was it Glenn Beck, who was given one burger and the Impossible Burgers, and he was like, this one's real, and it was actually the Impossible Burger. It's like, this one's better, this one tastes more like a hamburger. And so it's going to happen, and or there's another alternative, because all these vegan people can preach everything they want, but probably the most efficient way is to just take animals out of the equation in terms of from an animal rights perspective. And so with lab-grown meat by people like Mark Post, got the name right that time, then you're going to be able to just slowly replace the whole supply of meat, and people aren't even going to think twice about it. I mean, there are people who are scared of it, but in general, people don't really care what they eat. People just go to a restaurant and just get the hamburger or whatever. The things perfect example, a chicken sandwich from Subway is roughly 50% chicken. That patty is roughly 50% chicken. And no one seems to really care. They get their chicken, and that's what they wanted, and everything's fine. They go on. So just slowly replacing, especially those lunch meats and those packaged meats, is going to do it, I think.
Gross.
Yeah, it's
50%.
gross.
Well, a lot of the argument for factory farming is that, it's terrible, but we have to have it because we have to feed the world.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like, like you said, well, it's at a certain point, especially with the way technology is going, these plant-based lab-grown foods, it seems like you're going to be able to make food, you're going to be able to make a lot more food, a lot more efficiently in a much smaller lab, not producing all the methane gas that comes with factory farming and all of the other, horrific things that go on in that industry. It seems like if the argument is, well, we got to feed the world, then give it maybe a decade or two, but at some point we're going to hit a point where it's way easier to feed the world in a lab than it is on a massive slaughterhouse, I guess.
For sure. And I will say it's a matter of feeding the world in terms of what would feed them or what they want to eat, because as farming is now, we use, I believe it's 80% of our farmland to grow 15% of the calories from animal products, and we use about half of the lower 48 land, all of it for animal product production. We just throw away all these calories, all of this land, to just give people what they want to eat, not just meeting protein and calorie needs through what would be plant-based sources. So obviously these cell cultured meats and different plant-based products are just way more efficient. I mean, that's just how it works.
Well, like you said, at a certain point, you're not going to be able to know the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, a Big Mac is going to taste the same, whether it's the shitty beef that it is right now or the, plant-based lab-grown beef. At a certain point, you're not going to be able to know the difference, which is which.
Yeah, and it could be better. One example that Pat Brown, got it right again this time, was talking about he was talking about the heme iron in meat versus the heme iron that they use. So they have taken soy leg hemoglobin, which is they essentially genetically modified yeast to create that, and a lot of people have problems with that. We don't need to talk about that. But the idea is, he was saying, they could have actually had this yeast create the exact same type of heme iron that the animal has, but that actually oxidizes faster than the heme iron in the soy. So therefore, you get like a better cooking experience, and you can, it doesn't oxidize. So you have potentially more flavor, more of this like well-cooked phenomenon. And another thing, which I haven't talked about at all, is that this also implies that it would be less carcinogenic, because heme iron is one of the reasons the WHO deemed red meat and processed meat class 2 and 1A carcinogens. And if this heme iron in the plants, even though it's not going to be good for you, is actually going to have less of an oxidative effect, because that's what actually leads to the colorectal cancer, is the oxidation and the DNA damage. And so if you can lower that, then you have something that's healthier and something that tastes better. And you can just remove the cholesterol. No one's like, oh, I missed the taste of cholesterol. Like, there's no taste of cholesterol.
Right.